This is episode 55 of Double Crossed Anime. I'm Whooper, and I'm joined by Mario.
Hello.
We're going to get straight into it, as they say, with episode 10 of Fruits Basket and Mix, episode 9 of Carolyn Tuesday and Sadazanmai, and we're back with Future Boy Conan after a bit of a break. We're going to do the next 4 episodes, which will take us all the way to number 12.
That's right.
Nearing the halfway point of that show. And now we will decide where we start. What do you feel like discussing first? Or were you going to ask a question?
Well, since you just mentioned me that you just wake up an hour ago to watch Sarah's Mind, let's just get that out since it's still fresh on your mind.
Okay. Hey, thanks. Thanks for being considerate.
So how you feel about Sarah's Mind this week?
I was a little bit, for a show that's all about connections, I felt pretty disconnected from this episode.
Right, that's a hot take.
Don't say that. I'm not interested in delivering hot takes. Only like talking about anime and what I thought of it. Please don't think of me as some sort of hot take machine, everybody.
So
if
tell
anything,
me more about that, please.
If anything, I'm more like the machine that turned Kepi into an ice sculpture. I deliver very frosty, very chill, normal, authentic takes. That's my mission.
All right. That's gonna be cold and hot. Let's see how let's see how you continue to put your arguments.
Well, I mean, I don't really feel like arguing very passionately about this episode because I thought it was kind of, I don't know. I wasn't like, well, oh my god, I'm just tripping over my words. Chikai's death. I'll just say those 2 words to get out, the major happening of this episode. I didn't feel like a single thing when he died.
Right.
I'm not sure how I could have felt anything. Like, there's the whole post-credits montage where there's all the still images of he and Toy, like, growing up together, and they both loved soccer, as every character in this show seems to do. The fact that they have, like, that they grew up together, they're family members, and that they have this shared background and shared interest is not enough to make me care about a guy who, like, shot... Do you remember the scene where he shot his own, friend in the gang?
Yep.
That chubby guy who kept
Yep.
talking about all the crimes that Toy had committed in the past. He just shoots him, and then he's like, oh, well, he wouldn't have been able to survive in this world. Yep. That's his justification. I can't... I don't care if somebody like that dies.
Right. All right. Continue.
I mean, how did you feel about his death? That whole part of the episode, because it was like probably the major part.
All right. Before get into his death, though, I'm gonna mention that this episode is the one that bring me back to the show. I wasn't that fun about Sarah's and Mai for the last 2 episodes, but this one I think like they bring back like they bring a major plot point coming forward that like 3 of our main characters has someone dear to them, either dead or like in the verge of death, so that now that they have to find the dish of hope in order to basically revive them back. So we have like Haruki with Enta.
Who?
We have Kazuki. Yep, Kazuki. We have Kazuki with Enta. We have Toy and Chikai, and we have Real Mabu.
Yeah. Yep.
So, in related to Toy and Chikai, about Chikai characters though, I think it's more and more obvious that in this episode we see that Chikai is like the bad egg, the bad influence for Toy. He's manipulated Toy. He killed the guy who basically just support him all along the way just to cover his track. He has like no redeemable personality at all.
What do you mean he has no redeeming personality? He likes soccer.
Oh,
we saw it in the post-credit scene. He likes soccer, Mario. Nobody who likes soccer can be a bad guy.
Yeah, alright. He has one redeemable personality. Characters.
Hey, they're all connected by soccer.
by soccer, by the ball. Alright. So, I think it's more and I think that's supposed to make us feel that Toy isn't in good hands when he's around Chikai. How I feel about his death though, I just feel that he deserved to be shot down and die like that. But the one thing that struck me on like in his moment of his death is like how he's still pretty much angry. I think he pretty much angry about toys for some reason.
He's angry.
Remember like how he remember how he just like get the money.
He said you ruined everything.
Yeah, he tried to blame Toy for like not for his death but for not for his plan not pan out like he planned.
Yeah.
So
he also says take this money and feed yourself.
Yeah, but not by like from his voice, from his tone. I would think that it's more like sarcasm. It's more like
I don't think so. He's just dying. His voice is gonna sound strained.
I think it's more like like now I'm dead, just stack all the money and do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, he does say
more like
you ruined everything. So
yeah. So it just make me thinking that like if they gonna be together, like the plan has succeed, and they like they just going away. Toy he still gonna have some reason to lament Toy, like put him down or like just make Toy feel guilty about something. It's just like one kind of a really unhealthy relationship.
Yeah. Ikuhara's works are all about unhealthy relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're about relationships in general between human beings, so that's going to make them unhealthy.
Yeah, but that also, and I could relate that relationship back to Rio and Mabu, because they have like some kind of obsession. Like Rio think of the new Mabu is not like his Mabu, and like all this weird stuff that happened in these episodes when they have like a fake author Rio trying basically to spend some times alone with Mabu.
Yeah.
How do you make of that scenes of the whole sequence?
As with the Toy and Chikai part of the episode, I also thought that the Ryu and Mabu scenes were totally like misguided. We've been getting more and more clarification about their characters as the past few episodes have unfolded. We understand that they are the central antagonists of the series. So in this episode, with that knowledge, that's carried over from like episodes 6, 7, 8. I guess mostly 7 and 8. Now the show decides to completely shift focus and just tell a little side story about them, which is so laden with imagery that you can't make heads or tails of it. And instead, it focuses on Chikai, who is like a narrative dead end. I just thought the structure of this episode was totally wonky ill-advised. And I don't know what's going on with Rio and Mabu. Like, Rio still wants his Mabu, and he eats some cookies, and he's like, "Oh, you must be the real." I feel as though I have to seek out that manga, which is like the prequel to Sarazanmai, about the two cops. You know what I'm talking about? I feel like I have to read that in order to understand what the hell's going on. Especially with this episode having been presented their characters so opaquely. I don't know what the deal is with the second Rio. It's that black otter with the red trim, the head of the science and tech division, who has now taken on Rio's form. For what purpose? I don't know. To access Mabu's robot heart, which is important somehow? I have no idea.
I think to attract his desire. I'm not really sure. Like he mentioned at some point that he is the reflection of the real. So that and so that he only have like the desire, because real relation to Mabu is all about desire.
Right.
Something along that line.
We see him in the middle of those three green circles, that their victims are always placed between. No beginning, no end, no connection, I think is what they say. So, it seems like the science and tech otter, the black otter, who's now taking on Rio's form, may be looking to perform a desire extraction on Rio and make him into like the ultimate Kappa zombie.
Maybe.
Because he's in the middle of those three circles. That's pretty clear foreshadowing, I think. But the problem is, like, I don't know anything about the science and tech otter other than that he's like, evil, I guess, or pulling the strings of the
red eyes. Usually, like on the anime character have red eyes are evils.
Right. We also, after several post-credit scenes of the whatever Kappa monster they have, chained up or captured. With the red eyes, we don't get anything about that in this episode. So that's just another way in which I feel like this episode has failed to deliver on what the past couple were building up to. Like, we're teaching us about what was truly happening behind the scenes. This one just feels totally different. It feels like a break from what's been going on. And I don't think that's a good idea when you have an 11-episode run.
All right, tell me what you think about the other couple, Kazuki and Enta.
Okay, once again, I have a big problem with how the show handled things.
All right.
So Enta is dying, but he's not dead.
Yes.
And in fact, he's very much alive in Kappa form, because Keppi, after he manages to, get over to the hospital in whatever Picasso state he's in after Sada has put him back together. It just seemed to me in the hospital that Keppi looked kind of chubby, but apparently she put him back together in some bizarre fashion. Maybe he rearranged himself. I don't know. Anyway, Keppi revives him by eating him up and pooping him out, and so now Enta is alive. This should be like, oh, we have a limited amount of time here, because the dish on his head shows how much time is left before he dies. So this should create a serious sense of urgency within the show. Like, okay, Enta is alive. We have to get those dishes of hope now if we want any chance of, keeping him this way, of him not dying again. But what does the show do right after we learn that Enta is, his life is on a fixed clock? What does the show do? It completely shifts focus and goes back to Chikai. What are you doing? Like, this it doesn't make any sense. You've just learned that a character their life is on the line, the clock is ticking, and that's the last we see of them in that episode. That's such a boneheaded move.
All right, I thought you will mention that the next scene will be Kazuki talking with his brother at home, like sharing their moment together.
You have time.
And that could apply as well.
Get the plate, get out of there, and go back to the. They have to go back to the Otter headquarters, probably the one they broke into in episode 6, I think.
Yep.
They probably have to go
Alright.
back there in order to steal, because like Rio has the other 4 plates.
Yep.
So they got to steal them. I guess that's where they're going to be headed. I mean, the conversation with the brother, whose name I can't remember for some reason right now. It starts with an H.
Haruka.
Yeah. It was fine, I guess. I mean, it makes sense to have like a little bit of a seeing off because Kazuki is about to embark on this, like, suicide mission. Like
Yep.
he may never come back. So it makes sense for his brother, who's like the person who cares most about him in the whole world, to talk with them a little bit. That's okay. But the complete shifting of focus away from Enta, away from Kazuki even, to go back to Toy, who we don't learn anything really new or significant about. He's just a bad influence on he's just a bad influence on his brother, and that persists until the end. I don't know. I just felt like there were a lot of missteps made in this episode. I was not happy with it at all. It's my least favorite so far.
All right. So in your opinion, Chikai is a really bad written characters?
I don't know. Not really. He's just not the person that we should be, like thinking about right now. First of all, Sada-san should have had more episodes, and whatever we could have gotten this in a different one,
Yep. All right. I think because like the main objective of the episode is to raise the stake. So basically, like many members of the cast have some goal, like to retrieve the disk of hope in order to like turn their wish into reality again.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense in that sense.
I mean, yeah, they're moving all the pieces down the chessboard. Got to get everything set up for the climax. But you could have carried over some of the momentum from past episodes instead of like shifting gears. It felt like this episode was, and I did not like that.
Yep. All right.
So. Oh,
I think we run out of time here. All right.
What the guy in the white suit who Chikai shoots?
Yep.
He kills his buddy and then goes up the stairs, and then there's the guy in the white suit with the 2 lackeys in the black suits next to him. Who's the guy in the white suit? Have we seen him before?
I think he's supposed to be one of the brothers. Like I think the younger brothers. No, I don't think so. No, maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe in one of the flashback of Chikai, but I'm not holding my breath on that.
Yeah, like that's another issue I have with the Chikai story. Like we don't know anything about the guy in the white suit, so their conflict just feels totally meaningless. It's just more gunplay, like guns bad. Yeah. There's not a lot of subtlety or nuance there. He's just shooting at a guy who wants to kill him, so he has to kill him back.
All right, because we run out of time, so let's get into the next shot.
Okay.
Let's go with my favorite show. Let's go with my favorite show at the moment. Mix.
Nice. Yep. Nice. Yeah, I thought this episode was great. How about you?
Even though that this show is a sports show about baseball, and this last episode doesn't have any baseball at all, I enjoy that episode a lot.
Yep.
A whole lot. It basically took me by surprise that Haruka has an interest in Toma no show.
Yeah, me too, dude. I was like, what?
Yeah. Remember our conversation last week? Because
you said that she was going to go on a date with Soichiro.
Yeah, well, I thought that like all the shipping that they're already like on the right place, like like already pan out, but turn out that it's not. turn out that Toma is a popular guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their house is getting a whole bunch of deliveries of like fan letters and baked goods and stuff.
So like, I really enjoyed this episodes. Like everything that I hope for, like for all the cast, for the character writing, for how they bounce up each other. This episode is like a glaring examples of like how to use the characters, and oh my god, their conversation are really 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 good.
I will say that I groaned a little bit at the cold open, like the pre-credits thing by the riverbank where all the characters are like falling all over themselves to come see Otomi. I was like, oh no, this is a little bit too ridiculous. But it still made me laugh.
Yeah, remember the scene where Sho come back home to see his coach looking for Haruka, and his coach also say that Haruka was going out with Toma.
Yeah,
and then the mother and Hitomi just come in, and the whole conversations, especially from Sho, was pretty good. Like when he realized the like what was going on, he just said like, or why don't we just come into the house and have a long talk about this?
Yeah.
That's really nice. That just say a lot about his characters and how he still behave very calmly, although that he like he feel jealousy or these some stuff.
Yeah, that's Adachi's characters for sure. Like most of them will, they are calm, they are reserved. I mean, a lot of the times the side characters are kind of outspoken and wacky, but the central ones will usually keep what they're thinking and feeling hidden, until the time is right for that to come out. And that scene in particular where he says, let's just come in and have a nice long talk, as well as some of the scenes where Toma is like processing exactly what's going on with Haruka, and that his brother has been visiting the ramen place where she must work.
Yep.
Where he's like silently figuring all that out. That reminded me of a comment you made about this show a while ago where you said that they don't act like kids.
Yeah. Well, they still don't.
Yeah. They don't act like anime kids.
That's right.
But I feel like we got some clues in this episode as to like the character's emotional makeup. So it wasn't all like romantic hijinks. I do feel as though some of the information we got specifically about like Toma being like really cheerful and playful at his mother's funeral. Mm-hmm. And of course Haruka was a bit more mature for a 3-year-old, so she wasn't happy about that. But I feel as though Toma has not, even now when he's like 15 or 16 years old, he has not properly grieved his mother's death.
Yep.
Because he makes a comment about how So and Otomi, when he first met them, were like depressed and unsociable.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably because they had just recently lost their father.
Yep.
But he says, "Oh no, they're unsociable." So his perspective on like just behavior in general, like how you would respond to loss or tragedy, seems to be different from the average person. So I feel as though there's something inside of him that is like emotionally blockading him, and that he doesn't properly allow himself to like grieve for loss or to process like big events, like life impacting events. I don't know. I just feel as though there's something there that's going to come out. The further along we get, like some second tragedy may strike, and then it's going to like hit him all at once. What's happened to him throughout the course of his development. I did appreciate that there was a little bit of detail about his character and about his outlook, even in an episode like as fun and playful as this one.
Well, it sounds like the plot of Cross Game though. when you meant when you put it like that.
Well, you know, I doubt we're gonna see like a death, a character death. You know, we already got the fake out with what was the guy's name? The pitcher who the coach
Oh,
played favorites with. I think his name started with an
Tachibana.
N. Tachibana?
Tachibana.
No, that's
right?
their last name. That's Toma's last name.
Oh shit.
it,
Yeah.
it started with an N, but Nikaido.
Oh yeah, Nikaido. That's right.
Yeah, we already got the fake out for a character's death with him, so I don't think it'll be a character death, but something is probably gonna happen. That's
Yeah.
my guess.
Well, but it also you know, like, he knows a lot about the chemistry between the characters. Like, we always know that Show and Toma always have like some sibling rivalries.
Yeah.
Like, even when pitching, and put that now when they have like the same love interest. It's not the same love interest, but like the same girl who Show has been attached to actually turned out to like Toma. So they're gonna be, I think there gonna be a friction between them
Yeah,
on that as well.
probably so.
And one remark from Hitomi that really got me. Remember, like, when she asked Show about like how how old was they when they met Toma, and then she just remarked that, you know, like, she lost, so I lost.
Yeah, that was actually my least favorite part of the episode.
Really? All right.
Yeah, because I hate the Japanese. What's the word? No, I don't hate the Japanese. I hate the Japanese practice of being like, oh, you know, I won in love, or I lost in love. I think that's really dumb and like
Well-
self-defeating. You know, you didn't lose anything. What are you talking about? First of all, he's your
Well-
stepbrother, so this shouldn't be going on.
Well,
But it is. So second of all, like, you didn't.
right.
What are you talking about? Like, you didn't lose anything just because she met him first and perhaps, you know, grew attached to him first. What are you
First
saying?
love. All right. She lost at the first love.
But that's
but
so dumb.
All right. That was exactly what so sad. He said, like, he just said, like, you know, like, it doesn't supposed to be, you know, like, comparable, or something
Yeah.
along that line.
Yeah, you're
So,
not supposed to
yeah,
compare yourself to Haruka just on the basis of when you both met the guy that you're interested in. Like, but that's the thing. I don't think the show takes that perspective. I don't think the
No.
show is saying with that scene, you know, Otomi is so misguided, or this is a sad situation that she feels this way. Instead, it's like engaging with that idea, that trope, that you know, you can win or lose in love based on, you know, who was first to get there.
who
It's
appear first. All right.
yeah, it's just kind of silly. I mean, Mix plays around with that sort of stuff, as evidenced by the scene where all the characters like fall all over themselves down the hill at the riverbank, you know.
Right.
But that's one thing that I really don't like about like Japanese romance in anime, at least, is, you know, oh, I won or I lost. It's
All right.
not my favorite.
How do you? All right. How do you feel about the central romance this week, though, between Haruka and Toma?
Dude, my favorite scene was the one where, you know, she sends him the ridiculous letter with the impossible to
Yeah.
remember rejection phrase. And so
Yeah.
she says good morning to him, and he's like, oh, Ohio. And then the music cuts off for a second, and she...
I think that's what they deliberate. So
Yeah.
she did that on purpose.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's so cute how manipulative she is. I love, like, when he says good morning to her, and she turns around and gives him a little salute.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, she's perfect. She's the best.
Right.
Their actual like date in itself, the walk that they go on, I did enjoy like Toma's little comments about how it was just a walk, even though
Yeah.
they were going on all these train rides and stuff, and like digging through the forest to get to their eventual destination, because he was obviously like impatient, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the date itself, I did not feel was very. I don't
Engaging.
know. Yeah, it wasn't very substantive. Like they just went to a spot where she once had a photograph taken of her, and there was a lot of Japanese wordplay which I didn't understand. You know, when they were like eliminating the syllables from larger sentences in order to create smaller phrases. I was like, I just had a big anime question mark over my head as that was going on. But you know, by the time we got to the end, and you know, she says, "I bet you don't remember me teasing you either."
Yep.
You know, and then the show threads that together with the funeral story. I thought that was pretty good. So even though the date wasn't very exciting, I feel like everything was pretty well ordered within the episode.
Yep. Well, I love the four characters, the main four characters. So I can't wait to see them more time of them, even if they playing baseball or not. So now for me, baseball is more like a secondary concern of me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if this guy's past stories are anything to go by, he splits his time. Like it's probably like 60-40 baseball. You get a little bit more baseball than everything else, but you still get plenty of the other stuff.
Yep. So I really enjoy mix. So just one question though. I know that you've been telling me about the difference between cross game and mix a lot.
I'm sure that
But,
gets annoying.
Are they that different?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Because I just don't want to watch cross game in the future, and I just have like many flashbacks to mix.
Yeah. I mean, they both have a similar sense of fun and you know, banter between the characters. Like it's very conversation heavy, but there is a definite undercurrent of like sadness in cross game that like kind of seeps its way into everything. It's always like, you know, there under the surface. Whereas Mix is a little bit more optimistic, you know, and how could it not be with that ridiculous soundtrack? That's the one thing about Mix that I really do not like is its soundtrack.
Even the voiceovers. How do you think about the voiceovers?
I've gotten used to you mean the narration?
The narration, yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten used to that at this point. It's all right.
All right.
But the soundtrack, dude, like the ska song that plays sometimes at during like weird madcap moments, and then the song that I don't know if you'll be able to recognize it, but it goes like do 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 do.
Yep.
It plays like multiple times every episode, and it's always whenever they're all, you know, over at the Tachibana house or something, and all the characters are arguing or just like having a lively conversation. I don't know what instrument that is. It's some sort of reed instrument, I think. I don't know, dude, but it gets on my nerves every time. It's just not very subtle.
All right.
But yeah, I'm enjoying Mix. It's cool.
Yeah. Oh, I've been enjoying mix more than I thought. So that's a good feeling.
Yeah. Nice.
Even though when you think about it, like when you think about this is the show, a sports show about baseball, it's not really much about baseball, and the baseball had been really slowed for its one core.
Yeah.
So we are just a beginning of everything. We don't even see them, you know, like having a tournament match when they are in high school yet.
Right. Yeah, they've only had the one, the friendly game. Yeah, the practice match.
Yep. Even now, we don't see Toma as like the ace pitcher yet.
Yeah, but I think after that performance, I think he probably will be, especially since all the other pitchers defer to him. You know, when he first joined the team, and Goro, the coach, was like, "Oh no, we're gonna have a rotation. Everybody's gonna be able to participate." All the other pitchers are like, "Have you ever seen this kid throw a baseball?
Yeah.
Are you sure?" So I think he
Alright.
will eventually be the starter.
Yeah.
But you know, even though we didn't get any baseball in this episode, and it has been moving at a pretty slow pace because a lot of it was a prologue, baseball still has a large impact on the series. Like, you know,
That's right.
he gets all the fan mail delivered to his house, and this is probably part of the reason for Haruko's interest in him is that he's the star pitcher. I mean, a lot of it is based on her memory of him because she apparently has a great memory.
Yeah.
But he, you know, he's their athleticism is part of the reason why they're so desirable, I guess.
Alright, one last question for you before we move on to the next show. Do you remember what happened when you was 3 years old?
No, I do not. I only remember one thing, like one single thing from my childhood before the age of like 5. And it was a craft that I made in preschool of a turkey. For some reason, I have an extremely vivid memory of one craft that I made in preschool, but that is it. And apart from that, my memory of my life starts at age 5.
I do think so as well. I do think that people start to have their memories when they are 5 or something.
I think that's the scientific consensus at the moment, but like that's also very vague. You know, I'm sure there are people whose memories start earlier. I mean, we just watched The Promised Neverland. Ray can remember things from when he was a fetus. So there's all kinds of people in the world, man.
That's why that show is failed.
Oh God. You know,
Alright.
that show was a disappointment, but I've been thinking about like what my most disappointing shows of the year so far are, because we're eventually going to have to do the 2019 year in review. Like Promised Neverland wouldn't even be in the top 2 for me.
Alright.
And we're only halfway through the year.
Can I make a guess?
Yeah.
You want to spoil it?
Sure.
I think one of them would be Fruit Basket.
No, actually.
Alright. One of them would be Caron and Tuesdays.
Nope.
Oh my god. Alright. I'm I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's neither of those. I mean, those are the 2 that we have left to talk about. So you wanna do one of those?
Yep. Alright, let's do that. So let's get to Caron and Tuesdays.
Okay. So this is part 2 essentially, because it's the second part of Mars Brightest, the first round.
Yep. Gonna be pack 3 as well.
Oh yeah, because they have to do the semifinals and then the finals. Yeah. So this is actually
right.
like the show's first true arc, I guess.
Yep. I must say first that I wish the show have like the level of attention to its writing, like the level of attention they have for songwriting, because all the songs that we hear in this episode, like 4 of them, are all pretty good. Alright, you don't agree with me on that?
No.
Alright.
I thought that GGK's was awesome.
Alright. Me too.
But the other 3, you know, the Mermaid Sisters one was just like a big goof. Sibel's was pretty good, but Angela's, I was like, oh no, this is just top 40.
That's right. So that's the feeling I got for Angela. So that's why her song is my least favorite.
But it's the one that everyone goes gaga over.
Yeah, well, that's the show for you. The first performance and Sibel performance are actually, like kind of the same for me.
Yeah, I also felt as though there was they both had a kind of a dreamy
vibe as well.
Yeah. But I thought not FKA Twigs, GGK, I think she's supposed to be based on the musician FKA Twigs.
FKA Twigs, yeah.
Because they both have like the three initials.
Yeah. They kind of have the same designs.
Yeah, same hairstyle a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I would say that those two are like my kind of song as well. So I just love listen to them. For the other one, what are they? The
The
Mermaid
Mermaid Sisters.
Sisters.
Yeah, how'd you feel about that? That was
That
what was that?
well, I think that's supposed to be for laugh.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it was so
and
strange.
and the tune was really catchy.
Yeah, it's
So
like
yes,
barbershop
they did
a
a job.
cappella. Uh, it
So
was so weird. Like, what was the deal with the fourth mermaid sister who wasn't in costume, who was next to them? What? Why did they do that?
I have absolutely no idea.
Why did they write an a cappella song that was just swear words, like in its entirety?
Because they said that's who they are. I don't know
Yeah, but
why swearing is who they are, but
I don't get it. Like it completely baffled me the decision to make them into
but
like a joke.
I just think that would make a really nice songs when you put that on the TV and you have like the sensor the beep going on because the whole song gonna be like beep from
Yeah, probably
that
so.
is so nice.
And since it's a cappella, there are no instruments. It would just be one long beep, like no instruments in the
Yep,
background or anything.
that's right.
Although I guess that's how they do censorship on television. The beep cancels out even the background noise. But who knows? I
That's
mean,
right.
this is the future. So maybe censorship laws are different now. Maybe they don't even exist. Because if AI
Well,
write all the songs, then you might not need
oh,
to censor any
all
musical
right.
performances.
That that's one of my complaint about the episodes. I was expecting the AI judge to comment on Angela's singing, since her singing is more of like mixing AI music, but we
Ah,
didn't
I
get that.
see. No, the AI judge has been mostly like a one joke machine, literally.
That's right.
Um, I'm an AI, so I don't really get it.
Yep.
Ha 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 from
Um,
the crowd.
I'm a bit I'm a bit disappointed in that, but I think they're gonna address that. When Angela go into semis and to the final with Karen Tuesdays.
When Angela was first performing and all the judges were like slightly, I mean, I guess they were taken aback by her singing ability, and that's why we got those looks from them at first. But it seemed like they
Mm-hmm.
were looking at each other kind of questioningly, like, is this
I
real?
guess.
You know,
Yeah.
almost as though they were like disappointed at first. So I was like, this might go better than I planned. Maybe they're gonna be like, wow, this it sounds like a robot not only wrote your song but sang it. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I would have said. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, like I
But
I
it
loved that song so much more when she performed it for the hedge fund guy in episode 5, I think.
uh
When
2 episodes ago, I think.
no, really? No, 2 episodes
It
ago
it
was the audition for Mars Brightest.
all
I'm
right. So
talking
the one before that. Yep.
I'm talking about the one. No, well, I don't even know if it was the one before that, but anyway, I'm talking about the one where Tao takes Angela to Hefner, the guy who manages the hedge fund,
Yep.
and has her sing for him, but she just sings on her own, like it's just her voice. And sure, they added like reverb to it,
Yep.
to make it, sound nice and overproduced. But
Mm-hmm.
at least it didn't have the like ridiculous pop beat behind it that was like super sunny and just made my teeth hurt. Um, so yeah, I did not like. I would have put Sibel ahead of Angela by like 100 miles.
Oh, I would do the same, but like this show is it go for more mainstream. So yeah, mainstream music gonna likewise gonna be a top.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like Carol and Tuesday, their style of songwriting is not mainstream in the least in this future.
Yeah.
However, Angela's is. So
Well, that's the point. That's the point that like they're like too extreme. have to compete to each other. One
Yeah.
use AI songs and use the popular beat,
Yeah.
and the other one just like play for themselves and write their own music. Oh, speaking of Tao, so he taken interest in Carol and Tuesdays
Yeah, I thought that
singing
was really
ability.
interesting. What the show chose to do with his character, like
Yep.
Angela now has the entire deck stacked against her, like
Yep.
abusive father.
Mama.
Yeah, yeah, it is her mother. That's right. Whoops. Nobody sue me. Um, yeah, abusive mother, bumbling manager, a producer who like really does not care that much about her, and is in fact more interested in her rivals.
Yep.
You know, just a generally lonely existence, and I mean
Well, see,
she's living the good life in terms
yep.
of what finances and ability, but
She popular, she successful.
yeah, but that's not everything.
Yep. It's just the thing that she care the most. Doesn't like doesn't like her that much.
I
I
get
can
I
get
I kind of wonder how much she even cares about music.
yeah.
I just think she wants a change because she's not. At the start of the series, I feel like she just wanted a change because she wasn't happy with her life the way it was. But I don't know how much she
Mhm.
actually cares about music itself.
That's right. That's
This
right.
might just be another industry for her to conquer and then ultimately realize that she's still not happy.
Mhm. All right, and one more thing that I want to note is that I think Karen Tuesday the series is very queer friendly. It's had a lot of queer relationship right now going
Is
on.
is it queer friendly, or is all this stuff being played for laughs?
Yep.
Like the
All
Mermaid
right.
Sisters thing, that they were not taken seriously at all. The whole thing with Sibel being like a crazy stalker who marks Tuesday by like biting her neck, that was just like thrown out there and then promptly abandoned. Her character loses, likely never to be seen again. I
I
don't know
I I,
how friendly it is.
I think she will be back though.
You think so?
For more dangerous. I would say so. Um, how about this? Ex-wife.
Yes, that's true. I mean, and yeah, and Angela's mother, whatever's going on with her as
That's
well. I
right.
mean, they're certainly putting those sorts of characters on screen,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel as though they're always, you know, making it a point
Portray in
to
the
respect them with a capital R.
right. I got
Um,
that. I got that.
However, I think that's okay. Like you shouldn't be doing the complete opposite and going out of your way to like mock these sorts of characters, or just put them on screen to have them like get beaten down.
Mm.
But you can take a middle ground, I guess, which I feel is kind of what they've been doing. Like the Mermaid Sisters thing, that was just we are not men, we are not women, we are a new species. Uh,
So mermaid.
yeah, the whole thing was just a joke. And to be honest, like when they cut to commercial,
Yep.
the eye catch at the middle, I did laugh. I was like, because I was so taken aback, like it was the only thing I could do. Uh, so hey, man, I guess that's positive representation right there. They made them the funniest characters in the show.
All right. So how do you feel about Carol Tuesday, the series so far?
There's one thing that I want to say that'll take like 20 seconds, real
Right.
quick. The opening scene where Tuesday's mom gives the speech on the TV screen that's being broadcast to the
Yep.
public.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yep.
you in the background, you can hear her talking about like a shadow being cast over Mars by the Earth.
All
So
right.
I feel like there's some sort of larger plot that's going to emerge.
Hold on. Say it again. A shadow.
A shadow, yeah.
Cast.
That's just the
Yeah.
language that she uses, that the Earth is casting a shadow over Mars. But I feel like
Uh,
there might be some sort of economic or political or military tension between the two planets that will emerge as the series goes on.
Right. So I think
Because
that's
they
it.
chose to open the episode with that segment.
All right, because I think that the 7 minutes song that everyone in mass gonna remember gonna be for maybe for that.
Yeah, probably. It's probably linked somehow. Maybe this series will go like full Macross, and there'll be a war between two planets, and they'll have to use their singing ability in order to save the day.
Uh, maybe
Because that's
we're
every
gonna be
Macross series.
yeah, maybe we're gonna see Spade Dandy with like some of the characters who do the singings. Remember?
Yeah, the musical episode of Space Dandy? Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Love
Who
that episode.
knows? Oh my god, that episode took me by surprise.
Yeah. I mean, every single episode has the potential to do that with that
Yeah.
show.
Like there were a string of Spade Dandies like in the second season that was pretty good. Like Blow Me Away.
Yeah,
I
like
think,
one after another. Yep.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 in a row, I think.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Season 2 of Space Dandy is like, it's gonna go down in the books for me as one of the all-time greats.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the last show then.
Oh yeah, Fruits Basket.
Your least favorite show, Fruits Basket.
Yes, but I mean this week my least favorite show was Sarazanmai.
All right.
I do think Sarazanmai is pretty darn good overall, but Fruits Basket was okay this week, I felt. How about you?
It's okay. I still wanting more drama. I think I still want for something to happen because at the moment I still feel like it's good for more like slap life, as in like for Rama beat to happen. I'm waiting for more Rama, basically.
Right. Well, I mean,
So
they keep
this-
foreshadowing it with the concept, the conversation between Shigure and what's his
And
name?
the other guy.
Hattori, Harry,
Yep.
the dog and the seahorse.
Yeah. So Shigure is a pretty interesting character because it's now revealed that he's have a hidden agenda.
Well,
And
I think we've been able to sense that for quite a few episodes now,
we sense that, but we don't know like to what extent
and we still
he
don't.
gonna. Well, now we know that he willing to use Toru at the cost of Toru as well in order to get what he wants. We don't know what he wants yet.
We don't know what he wants. We don't know the way in which he'll use Toru. We don't know much about his past. There's so much that we don't know about him. All we know is that he keeps having conversations about how like his hands are dirty and how he's going to stop Akito from getting what he wants, and it's just constant foreshadowing.
That's right. So we just know the feeling that he gonna use Toru. He gonna hurt her basically. So I think that feeling should be enough to make him a compelling character right now.
I guess. I just feel like the show's a bit too vague about it. I would also like for something like significant to happen, but
Yeah.
it was better than what we got last week, I feel. Because there was a lot of conversation between members of the Soma family, whereas last week it was, all about that one guy, Haru.
Yep.
And it was all, I just didn't enjoy that very much, I guess.
All right. How do you feel about the double date?
It
Yeah.
wasn't of much consequence. Like Shigure's conversation with Hattori was like way more interesting. The double date was, and I mean they didn't even show that much of the double date.
That's right, because that's what I feel about the double date. It just doesn't leave any impact.
Apart from the movie that they see, which is like the best animated portion of the entire episode. The giant like demon rabbit thing. When it stretches itself out on the screen as all the characters are watching the movie, that was the best bit of animation that the episode had to offer.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, expect from I think the Shigure act gonna be like a very big act in the future. I'm not sure it's gonna be like the whole like overarching act of the whole story, but yeah, the way the show just keep foreshadowing it without telling it directly, make me think that it's gonna be huge in the future.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully so. Otherwise, they were wasting our time a little bit.
Yeah. I I just hope either they address that or address some of the drama or introduce more new characters, new Zodiac members.
Man, I don't even care about new Zodiac members at this point.
We
How
still
many?
have a
How many have
lot.
we met? We've got
Rat.
rat, dog,
Yep. Ox.
cow,
Cow.
cow and
Um,
ox being the same thing, right?
right. Boa.
Seahorse,
Seahorse.
boar.
Yep. Cat.
Well, cat's not part of the 12.
Seahorse is not part of the 12.
Oh, seahorse isn't part of the 12 either?
No, no.
Okay, so cat, yeah, then we have 6. Cat, seahorse, dog, rat, boar, ox.
Yep.
Are there any others?
Did you say dog?
I did.
Yeah.
Cat,
Yep.
rat, dog, seahorse, boar, ox.
No, yep. I think that's it for now.
Okay. Well, I mean, reports have been coming out that this show is going to be like 63 episodes.
Oh,
So,
oh. What about the guys who the kid who speak German?
oh yeah, what was his or
But
her animal?
I think he trying to hook
Wasn't he
to
he was a bird, right? Some kind of bird?
the bird. Is a
What?
chicken?
Yeah, yeah, wasn't it like rooster or
Maybe
chicken,
that's a
something like
rooster.
that? Hen, whatever.
Yeah, it's completely like off my mind at the moment.
Yeah, I don't
But
even remember that
but
character's name.
yeah, I think he's a rooster.
Yeah. So we get 7, you
Yeah,
know. Out of question mark because we're counting people who aren't part of the 12. So,
yeah,
seahorse. Well, that was a strange one.
yeah. I think that's supposed to be unexpected.
So one of the main things that I took a note about it in this episode was that it was focused on dreams. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it didn't take place within a dream. We're not talking about like Gridman episode 9 levels of dreaming here. But Kyo and Shigure both have like significant dreams in this episode, and we don't really see either of the dreams, but we learn about what
How that
they
affect them?
what they might signify. Like
Yeah.
Shigure, his dream is about what is his dream about? It's about like
I
he wakes up in that room with that window that kind of looks out
Yep.
at some cherry
Yeah.
trees. Their
Hmm.
blossoms are all falling, and the dream is about like his loved one. I think that's what he says. He dreams about his loved one. But I don't know how good that translation was because there wasn't anybody else in the dream.
Hmm.
And then Kyo dreams about it's something having to do with Yuki. And Toru speculates at one point in the episode because that's how the episode opens. Like he has that dream. He wakes up, and he kind of runs out of the house, and like curls up into a ball on the ground. Um, and Toru speculates that like he feels as though he has to hate Yuki. Like it's something that he's obligated to do, based on whatever dream he was having. So my theory is like the previous cat and the previous rat in the cycle of the Soma family, like both really hated each other. And so Kyo, as the new cat, feels as though he has to hate Yuki. Perhaps he had like a relationship with the previous rat somehow. Is that even possible? Like, does the
Yeah.
previous animal have to die before you're born, and then you inherit the spirit? How does that work?
Maybe. I think it will be passed down. I'm not really sure they haven't been established how these things pass out through generations.
Yeah.
But I do remember like there was one point in back in few episodes ago, with the introduction of Kaguya, the boa, that she mentioned that Kyo, when he like lose himself or something, there was one point that Kyo, he apparently lose himself or lose control or whatever, but Kyo just tried to deny that.
Yeah, because Toru is there, and he doesn't want her to hear about that because
Yeah,
apparently the spirits, the spirits that they're possessed by or that inhabit them, whatever,
right.
are like more sinister than they appear at first.
Yeah. So I think that that's had to do with his relationship to Yuki right now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe like he blaming Yuki for that or something.
Yeah, that makes sense because we did see like one little silhouette of his dream, I think.
Yeah.
And there did seem to be like a gigantic black form with like scary looking eyes in it. So maybe that was him, or maybe that was Yuki, would like some scary evil manifestation of one of their zodiac spirits harming the other, or something. I don't know. Yeah, we really are in the dark about a lot of this stuff because the show is not ready to pull the trigger on the secrets of the Soma family yet.
Yep.
Even though we get them teased all the time.
Well, if they gonna have like 3 course, like
It seems to be more than that, like 5 or something.
yeah, they're gonna have like a lot of time to address that again. I just hope that like something happened, something more significant happened.
Yeah. Well, we might be waiting for a while on that. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
sure that the show is going to survive the spring for me. Or, yeah,
Alright.
I'm not sure it's going to survive into the summer for me.
Yep, I can understand why. I think I might try to watch the original instead, but yeah, let's just see how
You could just read
how
the
the
manga.
show finish. Oh yeah, just read the manga.
I mean, the manga, people can read the manga or watch the anime of any given series. They can do whatever they want. But for Fruits Basket, the manga was like it was the incarnation of the story that was so legendary.
Yeah.
It was the reverse harem that was heard around the world, kicked off the viability of like reverse harems
All right.
as a genre unto themselves.
Yep. Well, it just struck me that like I told you before the postcard that I've been watching Kamisama Hajime Nashita, and I just found that that show is more like that show and Fruit Basket are on the same genre, like shoujo romance, and that show is what I wish this show to be.
Yeah,
Like
I can
more
definitely
related to that.
empathize with that.
Yeah, more funny, quicker pace, and still the drama is pretty good. I would say that the drama in Fruit Baskets most of the time are pretty good, but they just seem like they pad out the material to teen for me at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too, but I'm pretty sure they're just following the manga. That was the whole deal with this adaptation. That's what the rumor mill, or I don't even know if it was a rumor. Maybe it was like the mission statement of the show.
Yep.
But that's what people were saying. They're going to follow the manga this time. They're not going to piss off the author of the original series, like Daichi did in with the original adaptation.
Yeah.
So they're probably just following the manga. The manga's probably spins its wheels just as much. I don't know.
Yep. Okay, so now let's get to the classic show, the Future Boy Conan.
Yeah.
Episode 9 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
All right. how do you feel in general about these 4 episodes, Booper?
Honestly, I'm loving this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. For me though, honestly, I don't even remember what was going on before. When I start the episode 9, I was like in the middle of what happened before
Well, it had
until
been
I.
like 5 or 6 weeks since we watched it,
That's right.
and
But
you went on a gigantic like trip. Like I'm
yeah,
sure that your memory was basically reset after all the movies you watched.
but yeah, I got back to it. I got back to the show after like 5 6 minutes, and yeah, I've been enjoying the show so far. All these like rescue missions.
Yeah, it is
Uh,
a lot of rescuing and escaping. That's true. Still.
y- yeah, and we get like the real identity of Doctor Loud.
Yeah.
Um, what else? We got a lot of chase, cat and mouse chase, and basically it.
You're selling these episodes short, man.
All
I
right.
feel I feel as though this is. I mean, yes, there are a lot of you know rescue missions, escape attempts. But that like I feel like Future Boy Conan is like the template for what an adventure series should be. They're going
Uh,
to a whole bunch of different locations, encountering characters who are quickly whose personalities are like very quickly established, and their significance to the story comes into focus, like very very naturally. Um, like for example, Patch and
yeah,
Terito, that's how they say his name. I'm just gonna say Territ.
yeah,
Um, they're the salvage ship where they work. Um, is like it's such a great location for the series to focus on for a little bit, because it relates to Industria. They have to get the ship afloat,
yeah.
because that's their job out here. And Industria is trying to recover from all the losses it's experienced um, in the journey from the underground up to the surface.
Yep.
And like the conversation between Territ and the old man, where they introduced like the point system for who's going to become like a second class citizen, and Territ's like grievances with Patch. That whole conversation between them feels like very very natural. We don't know yet who Patch is, exactly what the point system is, what their jobs are, who they are as individuals, but it does feel like a little insight into their lives. And then
Yep.
when we're introduced to Patch and his
Tough.
like his toughness, even his cruelty, just feels very very believable. He's established as that sort of character very quickly. Now it is sort of lame that it's essentially the same thing. Like you gotta work to eat. You're basically a prisoner. Conan
Yep.
is made into a prisoner, as he was under Dice,
Yep.
the captain of the ship. So there's a bit of repetition there. Yeah, and I mean the show has been engaging in that sort of repetition since the beginning. But it's just I love the way that this show introduces characters and settings. I think the art really helps. The background art for this series is really good, I feel, for the time. Especially since I've been watching Gundam, the original, recently. And, like, Conan's background art blows Gundams out of the water. It's crazy how much better the background art is for the series than Gundam.
All right.
Gundam's painted backgrounds are, like, smudgy. Most of the objects in the background are like just one tone. They're painted in one color. That's it. Whereas Conan's are not. I don't know. There's 4 episodes worth of stuff here to talk about, and I've been rambling a little bit. So let's start going through it like moment by moment, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, let's go with the first episode, the episode 9. Um, I, on the other hand, don't really like Territ, the characters, because I feel like he's a kind of character who is written to, like for us to hate, for everyone to hate him, and to move the plot forward.
But he does have like a sincere motive in that I mean, not sincere like good-hearted, but sincere as in he wants to become a second-class citizen. Like he wants a better future for himself.
Yep.
So
Yep, he
it's
does.
not as though he's like pure evil. But yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's definitely hateable.
Yep. And the way he's especially the way he manipulate Lana, it it yeah, it destroys some reaction out of me.
It what?
It draws some reaction out of me,
Well,
like,
that's good. I mean, that scene did its job then.
yeah, well, not nice. Don't treat
No, not at all. But
children like that. But yeah.
yeah, but to Lana's credit, she sees through him immediately.
Mm-hmm. Um. Yeah. And along with all the things you said, the show had been hinting about only natural disasters. So
Right.
we see like the earthquake that been happening and gonna be worse. That could destroy industrial, like the whole cities. And we also see like leaping forward to some episodes later, that the whole underground cities that used to be like uh, that used to have a lot of people, and now it's like a dead city.
Right. Yeah, that reminded me of Nadia, as everything in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
show does.
yeah.
You know, when
That's
they come
right.
back to Atlantis, and Atlantis is just like there's grave markers everywhere. Everyone's gone.
Mhm.
Everyone's dead. It's the
Yep.
same in Conan.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And
Not
Conan's was how many years before? Like 12, 15 years before Nadia.
yeah, just about. Um, yeah, I mean, in Nadia, the reason that everyone is dead in Atlantis is because of war, if I'm remembering correctly.
That's right.
Now, I don't know if that was made explicit in Conan. I know there has been a war in Industria,
Mhm.
um, but I wonder if that's the reason that a city of 50,000 people was taken down to 1,000. I mean, probably, right? That's
Yeah,
a severe
probably.
drop off in population.
Yep.
I mean, famine could do that, but war is more likely, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's more about the world. So it's more about the advancements of technology, because industrial is heavily industrial
Yeah.
technology. So I think like the advancement of technology make uh, maybe they just destroy the nature, or maybe it just more like people turns up against each other. I think we
Yeah, I
will
mean,
know about that in future episodes though.
this is a Miyazaki joint, so
Yep, yep,
there's
yep.
gonna be, people
Nature
taking up
versus.
weapons and, destroying nature and etc.
Yep, yep, yep.
And you can see that in episode 12, with all the trees. They've lost all their leaves. It's dark. It's dark down there. They made an artificial sun for themselves, but what good did it do for them when in the end
Yep.
their population just fizzled out into almost nothing?
Right.
Should have been living on the surface where you could feel the soil under your feet and the sea breeze on your skin. Got to be one with nature.
But yeah, when we talk about that, the last four episodes, we have been going through Conan, go through a lot of settings. So first
The
from the
desert.
seas, and then to the desert, and then to the industrial again, and then to the triangle tower, and they go down there to the core plot. So like there are a whole lot of settings, and each setting are really impressive by itself. They have
Yeah.
like a life of their own.
Do you remember the scenes where they were like where Lau and Lana were descending into the core block in their flying machine,
Yep.
and like the camera, like in terms of how the shot was composed, the camera would like pan all the way down a gigantic painted background. And the way they must have painted this thing in order to give the impression of like descending, a descending camera movement is it must be painted at a bunch of different angles.
Yep.
You know, like so that when the camera moves past it, you get the feeling as though your perspective of the tower is shifting, like you're looking from the top to the bottom. So the amount of planning and foresight that must have gone into this one background of the triangle tower is insane. Like they must have been busting out the protractors and a whole bunch of other like geometric artistic equipment in order to get this thing right. I thought it was awesome. Like when I realized how much work that must have taken, I was like blown back a little bit.
Well, I don't doubt the amount of work and the production side and directing wise of the shows. It's basically like that scene that you just mentioned, or like the scenes where Conan just dive down the seas.
Yeah.
And it's basically explore. They have a very good sense of directions that, you know, like we almost feel like we follow him along the way.
Yeah, I really like the scene where he was trying to rescue Patch or Lau.
Yep.
Who I guess at that point is just Patch. When he's trapped underneath the boat, and they're like knocking back and forth on the metal like hull of the ship or the walls, and Conan's able to locate him that way. I thought that was really cool. And he went through a whole bunch of different rooms before he was able to locate him. You know, like so there's a sense of space there to the rescue mission. You know, like probably the 10th rescue mission in the show at that point.
Yep. And then not only rescuing, he had to, you know, like go up in order to breathe some air before going down again. And the show like really show us like all these action that he has to do.
Yeah, this show never skimps on like the tension of a scene, all the mechanics that a character has to go through in order to perform a rescue or to like, I don't know, do something as simple as climb a tree or take a breath of air in an underwater situation or whatever. Like I feel like a modern viewer might feel as though those scenes are kind of needlessly extended, and slow. But I do feel as though, you know, Miyazaki, the episode directors, the animators, just the creative team in general, are really going for a sense of authentic time progression in each of these scenes. And it's really refreshing, honestly, because modern anime do not do this.
That's right. Oh,
everything is condensed. Everything is to the point. Everything is, you know, go. We got to get to the next chapter. We got to get to the next episode.
Modern anime would rely on CG animation for most of that scenes that we just see.
That's true as well. So like on not just on the storyboarding side and the pace of the scene, but also on the visual side.
That's right.
They would probably have to call in a CG house.
That's depressing, to be honest.
Well, you know, CG it is a little bit depressing. I mean, one of the main reasons that I'm attracted to anime is the fact that it's still 2D. Like Japan and apparently France are the two countries that are still really holding it down for 2D animation. And you know, even for them, I'm sure that things are headed in a 3D CG direction.
Right. If you want to watch some others like hand draw animation from other countries that have a very long histories, watch some animation from Russia. They have like a really strong animation industry in Russia.
Still?
Not now though. No, not now.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Now they want to transform into CG again, and I think they failed. They have been failed. They just miserably at the moment. They just like a shell of themselves.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to anime though. Yeah, so I really love the craft that like all these the stuff and Miyazaki himself have put into these shows. How you think about if this gonna go like more seriously, more like thematically
Driven.
relevant? Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I don't know that it will just yet, because as of the end of episode 12, they've escaped in the flying machine and they're headed towards High Harbor, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they get there. We've been waiting. Like, let's actually get somewhere that isn't a prison cell or an underground labyrinth or a desert. Like, let's go somewhere nice.
On the sea.
Yeah. I'm ready for them to get to High Harbor, and they're like, my guess is they're going to get there and they're going to spend like 1 or 2 episodes there, and then some other big catastrophe is going to happen, because we are like, something's wrong with the Earth.
Right.
Lau knows it, and that's one of the things that I really liked about Patch was, even though his treatment of Conan was like really barbaric, he did respect his ability as a worker. The wrench scene where Conan dives down and gets it. Patch is clearly impressed, even though when Conan resurfaces, he backhands him for doing more than he was supposed to.
Yep.
So from the very beginning, you realize there's more to Patch's character, and then when you see him observing like the pill bugs on the beach and the moths, you realize that he's not exactly who he says he is. So I feel like the eventual reveal that he was Lau was kind of foreshadowed. So I thought that was nice.
How do you think that High Harbor's gonna be?
I think it had better be awesome, because so many characters have been talking about like what an idyllic paradise it is.
Right. Well,
So,
I think it's supposed to be like a total contrast to Industria.
yeah,
I
probably
don't-
so.
Yeah, maybe more greens, maybe more trees.
Yeah.
Hope
Kind of like the place where Conan met Jimshi.
right.
Remember
that's right.
the island that Jimshi lived on?
Yep. A lot of animals.
Yeah, hopefully. But I think the thing is that once they get to High Harbor and they enjoy like a little bit of time there'll be some other natural disaster to reinforce the fact that like no place on Earth is safe. Like a cataclysm is coming in the wake of the one that already happened in the past. Like humans have destroyed the Earth essentially.
Yep.
So
Speaking of that,
that'll probably strike after they get to High Harbor and enjoy a little time there.
all right. Speaking of that, you think that when the team rescue dies in the desert, and when Mosley, the girl, catch up to them, and remember like when dies, eventually like tell her a bit that Dr. Louds and Lana are gonna go to the Triangle Tower.
Yeah, he spills a little bit of the plan.
Yeah, do you think that is stupid? But I think that's in character. That in his character dies.
Yes, it is. It is in his character. He's a buffoon.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you need any proof of his buffoonery, you can just watch the start of episode 10, where he tries to trick Lepka with that fake suicide attempt.
Yep.
Which I thought was really funny. Like, a lot of people accuse Miyazaki of being self-important and like a curmudgeon, like just a grumpy old man. But this scene is the opposite of that. It's just pure fun and
Alright.
ridiculousness.
I
and I
think
loved it.
that was when he was young. Like when he get older, he be more grumpy.
Well,
Not
how old is
rational.
he? How old is he now?
He would be, I think, like around 70s.
70.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then he was 30 when he made this, because this was exactly 40 years ago at this point.
All right.
I don't know. I feel it for him to be able to make the films that he has in the past. Well, he made The Wind Rises. That was his most recent thing, and then what was before that? Ponyo, I think.
Before what? Sorry.
His last
Before
couple
The
of
Wind
films were
Rises.
The Wind
All
Rises and
right.
Ponyo, right?
So let me think. I think that was Ponyo.
He
Yes,
made Ponyo.
Ponyo.
He made Ponyo,
And
like
then
the
How
the
Moving Castle.
the entire point of Ponyo was like it was about the wonder of like exploration.
Yeah.
The entire second half of the movie is them just, in the newly flooded world, they're just exploring.
All right.
And he
That's
made that when he was 60 years old. Like he can't be totally cold-hearted to make a film like that.
well, he's not cold-hearted. He's just more like strict.
Yeah. He's very
Well,
critical.
Yep.
Um,
I just remember one of the time where he bashed the one of the animations about I think that company, the animation company, were trying to do the CGs of like abnormalities figures characters, just like when they like swarming by the hands, and the idea of the company was that they can make that figure into like some of the shooting games, and as soon as Miyazaki saw that, he just like bashed the idea out. He just said like, this is one of the ugliest animation I have ever seen.
yeah, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I've read stories
Heard
like
about
that and stuff.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, you and I were just bemoaning the eventual fate of 2D animation and how it's all going to switch over to 3D, and how much that sucks.
Mhm.
He's just doing the same thing, but he's a highly visible figure. Imagine if
Yep.
you or I were as famous as he is, and somebody got a hold of this podcast, and they're
Yep.
like, Super Whooper and Super Mario say that 3D animation is a bankrupt art form, insulting 3D animators across the globe.
Yep, it's gonna go into the news.
It go viral.
Yep.
Yeah, Miyazaki he's probably a bit of a grouch. He's also probably contributed to the work culture at Ghibli, where you have to like practically kill yourself in order to produce
Yep.
results like that. Just work until you can't work anymore. But we're talking about Future Boy Conan here, and this
But-
series is fun. This series has fun like stamped on its forehead.
Yep.
No matter what perilous situations, what life and death moments Conan experiences, he ends up with a smile on his face at the end of the day. There's this joy and optimism leaking from every
Few seconds.
every
Yep.
orifice of the show. This metaphor got weird.
Yep. And I still enjoying the show so far. I think it was good fun.
Yeah, it is fun. But I honestly I feel like this show is extremely, I don't know, it's just really good. Like I feel as though this show is probably way more influential than people give it credit for. And I'm interested to see how that is, like how Conan's influence made its way through anime in like the 80s. Because that's the thing, like anime got a weirder, more experimental and darker in the 80s, like when you think about the kinds of OVAs that were being produced during that period. Maybe its legacy is just that it impacted Anno, and kind of foreshadowed what Ghibli would get up to over the next couple of decades. But I'm in awe of this show a little bit. I think it's really, really good.
Yep.
And I have tons more notes on it that we probably don't have time for.
You can mention one of them, like the most important one that you see.
I have literally 2 pages here, so. Let's see here. I guess the one episode that I want to call special attention to is episode 11.
Yep.
The runtime of these episodes is kind of long. This is before commercials were trying to get more and more elbow room in TV broadcasts. So the broadcast length of this episode of episode 11 in particular is 28 minutes.
Yep.
Which is crazy. At least by modern standards. But the amount of detail that this show manages to pack in, the sheer number of significant events that it manages to thread together, is kind of mind-boggling. There's all the scenes in the desert where they discover Dice, and Lau's continued harshness is established. He hasn't left behind all of his mannerisms as Patch. He still says to Lau, there's no room for you on this ship. You better remember the good-heartedness of these kids who saved your life. He excludes himself from that. So there's all the stuff in the desert. There's Conan getting revenge on Monsley by taking down the moth plane, which he wasn't able to do the previous time. He got thrown into the ocean when he encountered it last time, but this time he gets his revenge. So that's a very significant moment for his character, and for the plot as well, because it strands Monsley in a place where she can hear from Lau that an earthquake is going to destroy Industria, which probably sets up her eventual turn towards the light, let's say, as a character. She's probably going to advise Lepka, Industria is going to be destroyed. We have to abandon it. We got to get out of here in the future.
That just say her divine intervention.
As what?
Her divine intervention.
Oh, you mean
so she see the light that to us.
Well, she's heard this from Lau, and at first she says I don't believe you. I can't believe it, because it's such a shock to her system. Industria is all she knows. But I feel as though that's the direction in which her character is going to go, and so that seed is really planted here. And then in addition to all that, and the triumph of Conan getting revenge on the plane, there's a look at how the earthquake affected Industria. We see the committee and how they're trying to distribute resources of the Committee of Old Men, and how Lepka breaks away from them. That's also going on in episode 11. And then there's Conan and Dice's scheme to free the crew of the Barracuda, when they hijack the work suit, and then they they free the prisoners, including Jimsy and the crew of the Barracuda, but also the guy who is eventually going to lead them into the depths of Industria so that they can rescue Lana and Lau. All this stuff all these really significant events happening one after another is I can't believe it. To me, this episode was a masterstroke. Whoever storyboarded this, whoever dreamed up all these events and how they would be sequenced,
a genius.
They're a legend. So there's my little rant.
Right.
About episode 11, which I thought was the best so far.
Well, I agree with you on that. Hopefully, that's all gonna be good for the rest, for the second half.
Yeah. That would be nice. I don't think it's a guarantee or anything, but look at what happened to Nadia.
All right.
Those filler episodes. Oh my god.
All right. From what I gather, both both Miyazaki and Takahata is the director and storyboard of episode.
Really?
There are a
Takahata
lot.
was that involved in this?
Yep. There are a lot of people who storyboards the story as well. Some of the other name I don't think we know is Seiichi Okuda and Yoshiyuki Tomino.
Wait, Tomino?
Tomino, yep.
Really?
Do you know him?
Yeah, he's the father of Gundam.
All right.
He created Gundam.
And all right.
That's crazy that Tomino worked on this.
All right. I think that's him. Yep. That's the
Did he
one.
really?
Yeah, that's the one.
Wow.
And
okay.
there's another one who is the co-director, director, and storyboard is Keiichi Hayakawa. Not really sure.
Okay,
who that is.
that's not a name I recognize.
All right. So yeah, there's a lot of good people who got famous people behind this project.
Keiji Hayakawa. Let's see here. Looks like most of what he's done is TV work. So not a Ghibli guy, I guess. Oh, he worked on Heidi. Probably with Takahata. That's likely where they met. Huh. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm no doubt some talented people were working on this show. Miyazaki and I didn't know Takahata was that involved, but if the two of them were, there in the studio, they were probably influencing a lot of people who would go on to work with them later or go do their own thing.
Yep.
It's easy to see those kinds of connections in retrospect, but when the show was first airing, I would have loved to see it then.
Yep.
It must have been lots of fun for young Japanese boys and girls when they watched it like in the early mornings on Saturday or whenever it came on TV.
That's right. Such a shame that this show doesn't have the recognition like it deserves.
I think it does. Don't you?
I think people mostly regarded it as like one of the Miyazaki early shows.
I mean, that's what it is.
Not what it is. It doesn't say exactly what the brilliance of the shows.
Well, I mean, sure, it doesn't have the significance that Gundam did because Gundam launched a franchise, and it doesn't have the significance or the staying power of something like Lupin III, the original TV series from the early 70s. Mm-hmm. That also launched a franchise. But I think Future Boy Conan is still remembered fondly by, anime fans who aren't just seasonal gobblers. They don't just obsess about, whatever's new and current and ignore everything else. I think most people who have a broader view of anime remember this series. At least I hope so.
All right.
Also, it had a second season that it was apparently not great, which could have hurt its legacy.
Yep.
Like an entire second season, not just the second half of this one.
Yeah, it doesn't relate it to any of these stuff of the first seasons.
Yeah, that could have hurt people's memory of it, I guess.
All right.
But it does seem to be like an entirely different thing. So this one's pretty good for now.
Yep. You want any closing thought or wrapping up the podcast?
Nope. Why was Sarazanmai so confusing this week? I'm sad.
All right. We only have 2 or 3 more weeks before this season ends.
Yeah, we're planning on doing two more for this season, and then we're gonna have a special episode on the at the end of June, and then we'll probably do a seasonal wrap up at the start of July before moving into first impressions.
Yep.
For the summer after that.
I would just say my God, time is flying here. It just runs really quickly. We now at the end of the season, and we're gonna move on to the next one just by tomorrow.
The anime train never stops.
It feels like tomorrow. So yes, we gonna see you back next week with more of Saram Zamai and the girls get on Tuesdays.
Yeah, and those other ones.
And other ones. And the brother and sisters in mix.
Yeah.
who might be in love with each other.
Yeah.
Romantically.
Yeah, might be.
Alright, see you next week.
Yeah, all right. All right, bye.